Welcome back to the Deep Dive series where each and every episode we take a look at a different NFL team and come up with a realistic outcome and prediction for the 2020 NFL season. Remember, at the end of the Deep Dive series, once we've covered every team, we're going to do a 2023 NFL mock draft based on the draft order from, well, my predictions. But today's a special day as I'm a Dolphins fan and we're covering my Miami Dolphins. I always try to have a realistic expectation for the Dolphins. To me, from years of being a Dolphins fan, I'm like jaded. It won't surprise me if this team wins 6 games. I'm used to being heartbroken. But I think this team's actually going to be pretty good. I really like who they brought in as a head coach, and while this is the part of the list where these are playoff contenders that just missed the cut in my predictions of getting to the playoffs, I still think this team is very capable. I'm very excited. So let's go ahead, do the nitty gritty. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so, and we're going to cover the offense first and foremost. Let's talk about the offense as we got Mike McDaniels and Frank Smith. Mike McDaniel, obviously the head coach, but Frank Smith, they're pretty like-minded when it comes to the offense. Frank Smith, he was the run game coordinator and offensive line coach for the Los Angeles Chargers last year, which actually ran a outside zone, wide zone blocking scheme. So guess what? Him and Mike McDaniel, very similar in that aspect, and both Smith and McDaniel have brought in guys that they were familiar with from years past, at least when it comes to the run game. McDaniel was the running backs coach back in San Francisco, and he brings in Raheem Mostert, who was wreaking havoc back in the day, and Smith was a part of the Saints coaching staff when they drafted Terron Armstead. Now, this offensive line is probably the second biggest question when it comes to this offense. Obviously, the first being Tua. Will he develop this year? But the second is this offensive line, because there are still a ton of questions when it comes to they brought in Terron Armstead, who has been great, but when healthy, looks like they're going to be starting Connor Williams at center, as that's where he was at OTAs. And if you don't know, he's never played center in his whole career, neither in college or in the NFL. He was actually a tackle back in college. So that's kind of a question mark, but I feel like that's going to be a transition he'll be fine making. Robert Hunt likely going to retain his right guard role, which kind of leaves the question who will be the left guard, who will be the right tackle between guys like Leon Eichenberg, Austin Jackson, Solomon Kinley. You got Michael Dieter, who was also a center last year. So you got all these guys fighting for those positions. I'm just still suspicious of the line, and I'll kind of get into that in a little bit. Smith also has a history. Frank Smith has a history of getting production out of his tight ends, as he used to be the tight ends coach there when they were still the Oakland Raiders, when Darren Waller started to make his rise, his ascension. And the tight end, the running back position are very important to this offense, because quite often in the passing game, they're going to be the hot read. So they bring in Chase Edmonds, who the last 2 seasons has had 96 receptions. Pretty good. And they also franchise Mike Gesicki, who's coming off back-to-back 700-yard seasons. So I think those 2 guys are going to be a vital part of this offense next year. This offense, they like play action. They like putting guys in motion, and they're going to love the speed they have, because they probably have the fastest wide receiver duo in the NFL when it comes to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They want guys that can create after the catch, and those are 2 guys that can do exactly that. The biggest question, going back to Tua, is can he be successful running this offense? Can he operate this offense? Can he clean up on the decision making? He had 22 turnover worthy plays last year. This is a very quarterback friendly system, so I think he does take that next step. I know a lot of people like to dog Tua, like, oh, the dude ain't got much of an arm. But again, this is an offense that likes getting the ball into the hands that are playmakers fairly quickly. I don't think he's going to be required to have to take a lot of deep shots. And with the speed that he has at receiver, dude's just got to put a little bit under the ball. So let's go ahead and look at this offense specifically. Again, I like Tua. I think he's gonna be fine in this offense. If he this is it. Like, if he doesn't take that next step this season to where it's like, I think he's a top, could be at least a top 10 to 12 quarterback in the NFL. Don't know if he'll ever be elite, but in such a quarterback friendly offense, he has to take that step. If he don't, get out of Dodge. Go ahead, draft a quarterback next year. There's actually quite a bit of quarterbacks that have a lot of possibilities in 2023. We got Teddy Bridgewater as the backup. Skylar Thompson's there, but I feel like he's more of a Taysom Hill type of guy. That's just my opinion. He's got good size and some feet. Let's talk about the offensive line. This is where I'm the most concerned. Terron Armstead, I can't remember when was the last time he had a full healthy season, so there is concern there with that. I don't want to see Liam Eichenberg back out there on the outside. I really think guard is where he should be. That's where I kind of projected him going into the draft. Not last year, 2021. So yeah, I like him taking the left guard role. Connor Williams at center. You just got Michael Dieter there. If they ever decide, if there's weak links on the line, they can move Connor Williams back to one of the guard spots and then have Michael Dieter take center, which I didn't think he was. I thought he was at least average last year. I thought he was solid enough where I don't mind him being the weak link on our line, because honestly, you want at least every spot on that offensive line to be at least average. If you have one subpar guy, then it really ruins the line. It don't matter, but we got a Pro Bowl tackle if other parts of the line are terrible. That's where the defense is going to exploit. So you want that whole offensive line to at least be solid, sturdy. Robert Hunt is actually the guy I feel most comfortable with. He's just another one of those guys out of Louisiana, same as Kevin Dotson, that have just been hey, dude, they're good NFL guards. Austin Jackson, woof. Probably going to be the right tackle unless they move Liam Eichenberg. He's the only other guy that I think can kick out there and play that. In that case, then we're moving Dieter to center, we're moving Williams to left guard. Robert Jones is a nice project. I think he's formerly out of Middle Tennessee State, but again, another guy that's a project that has good upside. Solomon Kinley, a guy that I'd rather not start. He's for me, he's been a little subpar. I'm not too high on him. Wasn't high on him going into the draft either. I love that they went out and got Kellen Diesch out of ASU. I had him as a third rounder, and it ends up not getting drafted. I think he's a perfect fit for this type of offense, in that he actually could see early playing time as a swing tackle in this offense. So I'm a big fan of that. They bring in a big boy in Blaise Andreas, the Minnesota tackle. So another guy that he could make the roster. Could make the roster just because the offensive line, there's a lot of questions, a little susness. Greg Little, guy that just really hasn't played up to his potential, his upside coming out of Ole Miss. Not too high on that. So again, while it's improved, still a lot of questions, especially with guys that we had. Can Armstead stay healthy? Will Williams make a positive transition to center? So still got questions with the good players we brought in. Talking about the playmakers, because there's a plethora of playmakers. Let's start with the running backs, because it's kind of what this team does. They like having a lot of running backs that can do a lot of different things. Sony Michel's going to kind of come in and be I guess you would say the Malcolm Brown, the guy that's really going to take more of the inside running plays, while you got Raheem Mostert, just a guy with good speed. Myles Gaskin, a guy that's very capable as a pass receiver as well. Chase Edmonds, those are the four guys I see making the roster, which is a shame. Salvin Ahmed, I think, looked good when called upon over the course of his career for the Dolphins. We didn't see too much of Dokes. Is that how you say it? I think he was Cincinnati running back. Probably past practice squad. And then you got Zaquandre White, who was a guy that I had a ton of questions and concerns about. But that did flash ability in his like minimal starting time at South Carolina last year. They add Alec Ingold, who it's great. We know fullback. They like to utilize fullback in a blocker or as a blocker in the passing game. So Ingold, perfect addition. I like that. They like to get the tight ends involved. Mike Gesicki. He's probably looking for that big contract after this season. And what an addition. Durham Scythe's kind of been fine as this tight end too. Adam Shaheen's kind of whatever depth at this point. Hunter Long, we haven't really seen much from him after being a third-round pick out of Boston College. I'm super excited. Don't know if he makes the team. Tanner Connor, built like a truck for a receiver, former receiver in Idaho State. Blazing speed though at his size. Like I think you can't even see him right here, but it's there it is. Blazing speed. A move to tight end. Like watch out, man. This cat. We might see a couple of deep plays from him if he makes the roster. And then the receivers, I love what they got going on at receiver. You got Waddle, Hill, guys that could just separate. Cedric Wilson's shown that he was back in Dallas, that he was a very good receiver when they needed him, when injuries kind of befell some of the receivers there in Dallas. Showed like, hey dude, no, I'm solid, I'm good, I could be a bit more than just some depth. So he's gonna come in here and kind of be the slot. And then we got Eric Uzakama. I didn't love the pick in the 4th, but I get it. He's a bigger receiver that can produce after the catch, so I'm fine with that. Lynn Bowden, this is like a picture perfect offense for him. A guy that's very capable guy you want to put in motion. So I think those 5 guys probably make the roster, and then Preston Williams. He could be a cut, but Preston Williams, I think, is at least very good depth. Trent Sherfield's kind of whatever. But Cody Core, was depth for the Bengals back in the day, but that ain't much more. Braylon Sanders might be a guy to watch out for. He tested well. It's a good size out of Ole Miss. But I really think it's probably going to be Preston Williams, Izukama, Bowden, and then Waddle, Hill, and Wilson, obviously. So, like, Tua, legit. No excuses. This is at least you have a lot of playmakers. Hopefully the offensive line, hopefully they've done enough. I like Eichenberg moving to guard. So yeah, no, I think this is fun. If anything, the weak link, if this line stays healthy, is Austin Jackson. Can he prove that he's not a first round bust? So we'll see with that. So Tua, no excuses. They got steady Teddy. So he could definitely come in if there is injury at the quarterback position. But Tua, I'm hoping the best. Let's go ahead to this defense, because they actually retained the defensive coordinator, Josh. What was it? Boyer, sorry. Who was the DC last year, but comes with a little, I guess, controversy. If you kind of like buy into like dirt sheets and reports that Miami players were very displeased that the Dolphins decided to retain Boyer. Those reports were out in Miami outlets. Excuse me. There's also the reports that Brian Flores took over defensive play calling during the second half of the season because he was very displeased with how the defense was playing during the first half. Could all be nonsense. I kind of think that I feel like it's kind of nonsense. Like Boyer's been coaching, feels like for quite some time. He spent 12 years in New England. So if you think we're going to lose an edge off the Patriots because we don't have Flores, like Boyer spent just as much, probably more time there with the Patriots as a defensive coach. So yeah, and to be fair, defensively, the Patriots, they're always adding new wrinkles to that defense. So it's like, okay. But what this team does, there are some parallels to what New England at least used to do, where New England used to be a very man heavy coverage scheme when they had Stephon Gilmore. That's what the Dolphins are. They're primarily playing a lot of man. But I would say this team's definitely a lot more blitz happy, but they do like to show you a variety of different looks in terms of the defensive fronts. But this is a very blitz happy Miami Dolphins team. They have, over the last 2 seasons, their blitz rate has been 40%, which is ludicrous. That's first in the NFL. This team is bringing the heat, and they do it with a lot of different players, so we could kind of go in because they bring in guys like Nick Needham, who's been very good in slot and actually brings a lot of good pressure. Here, let me pull this up. I know Brandon Jones, they like to get in there in the backfield as a blitzer. Strom Baker. I really think Shannon Tyndall, they bring him in to kind of be like the dude's a very good blitzer, a guy that can cover a lot of ground, big, strong, long upper body. So maybe he gets involved in that. He was our first draft pick this past season. Even Javon Holland, man, he blitzed quite a bit. So like this team likes to blitz from everywhere. I love it. Speaking of, the addition of Melvin Ingram, like, dude, this edge group is bonkers. Like, Ogba was a very good, a guy that they like to get interior pressure with. He'll occasionally like kick inside of the 5-tech or inside of the tackle and like do some work. Andrew Van Ginkel, a guy that they actually used quite a bit in coverage. He was actually, if you want to refer to him as an edge player, he led snaps among edge players with 801 snaps last year, and he actually was used quite a bit. He was kind of like the Kyle Van Noy role, if you will, which I feel like Shannon Tyndall could kind of be a similar case. So I know that they got him listed here like as an inside linebacker, but I really think he could actually come in and like fill in for Van Ginkel when he comes off the field. You got Jalen Phillips, who had a very good rookie season where he had double-digit sacks, and you have Melvin Ingram, who could come in and fill in for that. Like they got a lot of edge players. In terms of interior pressure, it's really coming from Ogba. Like Christian Wilkins was like, he's fine, like he's a plus pass rusher, but it's like I wouldn't say anything special. Like he's just been a very, I would say, solid player. Like, he's a very good run stuffer, and he's adequate as a pass rusher. Raekwon Davis is just a big boy. That's really all he is. Adam Butler provides a lot of versatility along that line. They actually have some cool UDFA additions in Ben Still from Nebraska, who's got I think he's like I'm pretty sure he's sub 300, but he was a guy that was getting a lot of pressure when he kicked inside for Nebraska. Owen Carnell tested out like a freak, was very solid at Illinois. So like there's a lot of depth on this defense. So like he might be a long shot to make the squad, but like watch out. They do have solid depth on the interior too with John Jenkins. So like this team looks really good. Eldon Roberts, he's kind of fine. Like he I don't think he's a detriment, but he's really nothing special at linebacker. He's just been a guy that's right. He's like your base Patriots player. It's cool that we could bring in Cameron Good, because they even list him under Andrew Van Ginkel here, who like Cameron Good was a guy that at Cal used kind of like that as a pass rusher, but also as a guy that could drop into coverage. The secondary is amazing. I love the secondary. Like I said, Nick Needham was huge last year. I thought he was probably one of the better slot players in all of football. A lot of people sleep on how good he really was for this squad. He didn't allow a touchdown. He allowed a 72% completion rate in the slot, which I thought the dude was just really good last year. They also got like Trill Williams. I'm talking about depth at this point. I was a big fan of Trill Williams at Syracuse. I don't know why New Orleans let him go, but curious how he's developing. But let's keep talking about the stars, because Javon Holland instantly like emerged as one of the best safeties in the league. I think the dude was very good. Brandon Jones kind of had like a very good athlete, but he's this guy you probably put around the line. He's capable of blitzing, and he's capable of playing good man-to-man. Eric Rose, another guy that's just been a guy that's been with, like, feels like he's been with the Patriots forever, as he was a former Patriot. But he's solid. I actually really like the addition of Sheldrick Redwine, because he's actually a very good special teams player. So watch out for that. They have Vernon McKinley as a UDFA. He's not going to see playing time. I don't think so, unless there's injury, or I don't even know if he makes a team out of Oregon. Like, he's he's like a deep safety ball hawk, but like it's not like great speed. In terms of the corners are great. Like Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, like that's a very good corner duo. I think those guys get slept on. Noah Igbignagani, is he ever gonna really develop? Who knows? I don't know, how much did we see him last year? I don't even know if he was healthy last year, but I know during the course of his career, he's struggled to get playing time. They tried to play him in the slot parts of last year. Not last year, but the year before, his rookie season. So I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see if that guy develops, but doesn't really need to. We got really good corners. I mean, outside of that, it's not like the depth's great. If injury would go down, like Quincy Wilson. Feels like he's been in the league forever, but I think he's only like what, fifth, sixth year in the league. So it's like, yeah, if injuries happen, it's not like the best spot to be in. But this team did a good job staying healthy last year. We could talk about like the depth. Like, I didn't even mention really Jerome Baker. Like, he's fine. Like, he's a fine linebacker. He's a speedy guy that can play man to man. I like him. Duke Riley is just really a depth guy. Like, nothing special about him. But yeah, no, that's kind of the defense. I could mention Darius Hodge. Probably doesn't make the squad, but he was a guy I really liked out of Marshall a couple of years ago. So let's go ahead get to my what do you call it? Projected starters. These are guys that I just think, when it comes to projected starters, these are going to be your snap leaders. I don't care about base defenses, base formations. Like, I want to know who's going to be on the field the most, and that's how I do this list. So let's go ahead, get to the nitty-gritty, starting with Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah, he's going to be the starter. We're going to see if we're going to see what he's made of this year. I got Chase Edmonds. He's the guy they spent money on free agency, so I think he'll probably see the most out of the running back, so we could see a healthy dose of a lot of guys there. That's kind of what the Niners have done. So Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. If we're gonna see the slot a lot, I think I'd rather see an extra slot player on the field rather than our tight ends, because it's not like the depth's great. So I got Cedric Wilson, Mike Gesicki, and then the line I got Taron Armstead, Liam Eichenberg, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, and then hopefully Austin Jackson could hold up at center. Looking at the defense, I got 3 edges, because their edge players get a lot of snaps. Remember, this team likes to blitz quite a bit. So I got Agaba, Phillips, and Van Ginkel as well. We will see Melvin. I think Melvin Ingram's definitely going to have a high snap total as well. Christian Wilkins there on the interior, Eldon Roberts, and Jerome Baker. Don't know exactly how much Channing Tindall we'll see here, but I'm curious. I'm interested. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Nick Needham at your corner spots, then Javon Holland and Brandon Jones. Let's go ahead, get to my prediction. I got him at a hot 10-7, and they just missed the playoffs. So I actually got a few 10-7 teams coming up here in our deep dive series. But listen, people got mad at me last year. I think I had the Dolphins with 8 or 9 wins last year in my deep dive, and Dolphins fans were all butthurt about it. And it's like, y'all act like we haven't been here before, where we get disappointed. What did we finish with? Specifically last year, what did we finish with? Okay, never mind. I'm trying to figure out what our actual record was. They're just telling me like, oh, okay, no, this is last year's schedule. Son of a gun. What were the Dolphins last year? Oh my gosh, why is this so hard to find? You'd think it'd be like 2 clicks away. There we go, 9-8. Okay, I think that's where I had them. I might have had them with 8 wins. So I don't know. Regardless, I don't get it, man. Dolphins fans act like I was confused because I was like, I thought as Dolphins fans, you know, we've come to expect like being disappointed, and then suddenly like they have all this hope from a 10-win season where we barely missed the playoffs, and I'm like, y'all really think like? I thought that team was overachieving. So last year, still kind of like came back to earth, kind of sort of. 9 wins is still pretty good. So I have them at 10 this year because the schedule is actually harder. Really, if you're an AFC team in general, your schedule is going to be a bit harder. That tends to be the case. I have them going 7-1 at home and then 3-6 away. And they're pretty similar when it comes to facing winning teams, facing losing teams. Let's go ahead just with the projections. Yeah, I got them beating the Patriots twice. I just ended up happening that way. I got them getting 1-1 over the Bills, though, and with it being at home. Losing to the Ravens, losing to the Bengals. I got splitting with the Jets because I actually think that's a really good Jets team. I got the Dolphins going 4-2 in the division, by the way. Got us losing to the Steelers, but beating the Lions and the Bears. I also got us beating the Browns because I figure if a suspension sets in, because I really don't think Watson gets suspended for the first part of the year. I don't know. I don't know how close they're on a decision when it comes to that, though. I got us beating Houston coming out of the bye, but losing to San Fran, having a 3-game losing streak here. To be fair, they're all on the road, and these are all very good teams. I know San Fran, I had them, I think 7-10, maybe 8-9 around there. But like that's a very good team. So I got us beating the Packers. Woof. I'm thinking maybe the Packers have the division maybe won because like I know the Vikings are moving in the right direction, but like I still don't think they're touching the Packers just yet, but they could. The Vikings are a very good team. But yeah, no, this is it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Fins up, baby. I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm always rooting for my Dolphins, but I won't be surprised by failure because as a Dolphins fan, I'm used to being hurt. Remember, hey, have a happy 4th of July. I forgot, I'm doing this on July 4th. I'll have a deep dive out tomorrow. Remember, I'm actually gone this whole week. I'm recording all this on Sunday, so yesterday. So hopefully nothing much changes on the 4th of July. There's no big roster ads or anything. But we will also have my first Mock the Mock of the 2023 season coming out. So be on the look for that. Till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.